All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, very excited to be talking to an individual set to compete at BYB 21, and that goes down on October 21st. And with that, we got that BYB championship on the line, that heavyweight gold, very coveted, as DJ Linderman steps into that Mighty Trigon to take on Rashad Coulter, and great having Rashad on the show. How's everything going, man? You having a solid camp and everything leading into this one?
Yeah, man. Everything is going good, man. I got a good group of guys around me. We got a great game plan. Everything is going wonderful.
Yeah, and I'm curious to, hear you expound upon that a bit more. Like, who would you, credit as that great group of guys around you for this one?
For sure, man. Of course, it's always my boxing coach, Nathan Pipitone, and I got another coach, De'Ara Bryant. I got some really good sparring partners. I spar a lot with my boy Greg Hardy, big 320-pound, massive human being. I got another guy, Adrian Taylor, who's a world-class boxer. And, yeah, man, we get some good rounds in, man. But my boxing coach, Nathan Pipitone, Tony Mack, and De'Ara Bryant, those are the three guys that are responsible for the game plan.
Yeah, I just love seeing all of it come together, and I would think that you would as well. I mean, I mentioned the heavyweight title component, which is obviously exciting, but doing it in front of the hometown, I think, would be doubly sweet.
100%, man. My family showed up big the last time I was in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and I'm looking forward to another big crowd. There's just more the motivation for me, man, because I know for a fact DJ is a very seasoned vet. He's got some little tricks up his sleeve. He's a tough, durable dude, man. It's hard to finish. But, just being in not too far from my hometown, I'm looking forward to the challenge. And, man, I've been grinding. I'm ready to bring that belt back home.
Yeah, for sure, and I did want to get more into the specifics of like what DJ brings to the table, as you were kind of touching on there, but I feel like I'd be remiss if I, didn't touch on the fact that you pretty much called the shot there, like you called for it in the post-fight interview in the Mighty Trigon and all that. Like, when did you, officially get word that this was the next, locked-in fight?
Yeah, man, not too long ago, I did call my shot back in May, but I called my shot not as, disrespecting him, but I called my shot because I knew he had the belt. He's a very tough and very game opponent. At that time, he was the best heavyweight on the BYB roster, and I only thought it was necessary for me to test myself against the best and against the champ. And when I called him out, like I said, it's not about DJ. It's not about disrespecting him as a fighter, because I got all the respect for him. It's just that if I'm going to be doing this, I'm not doing this just to be a crowd pleaser. I'm doing it for the strap. I'm doing it to be a champion. And DJ just so happens to have the belt. It doesn't matter who it was. It could have been anybody. Whoever had the belt, it could have been them. I just wanted what they have, and I feel like it's my time, man.
Yeah, and that was the impression I got too. Just a more momentum-minded, goal-oriented kind of thing. I mean, you're 2-0 at this point, two impressive first-round finishes, so the title shot made sense in my estimation.
Yes, 100%, man. It's not a knock on the other guys. My first fight was a little weird. The guy that I fought, he was, I don't know what, he just quit. It's not like I just really knocked him out, but I think that he saw once I weathered the storm, and that was my first bare knuckle fight, which was kind of new to me, and I was trying to figure some things out. But when you go back and watch the fight, I hit him with two body shots, and when I hit him with those two body shots, immediately he folded it over. We was in a clinch, and I hit him with two left hands to the body. And then the next fight was when I fought my last opponent. Of course, he came out like a madman, like I knew he would. Very game opponent, wasn't scared to throw. I just had to be make sure I didn't get caught with nothing wild and keep my defense. And I just happened to be more precise. And I knew that once I hit him the first time and once I dropped him, I looked at the ref and I could just see. I was like, hey, man, yeah, man, save him, bro. Like, he doesn't want to continue to fight because I think he realized, like, uh-oh, like, man, like, this dude is weathering the storm. And it just so happened to be that, you know, I got the 3 knockdowns and he wasn't able to continue. So I'm grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a way to articulate this question, I guess, because it felt like after the debut fight there was, I mean, a level of closure on your end. Like, you're like, oh, I just got the finish, but, like, your opponent was, I guess, disputing some aspects of it. Like, was there almost a more, like, clean component to the last fight? Like, I don't want to say, maybe closure is not the right word, but is it a more, like, I guess, clean kind of performance, and as far as, like, just, yeah, emphatic finish, and it's not, you know, the other side attempting to kind of shroud it in maybe a certain level of controversy. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but...
No, it does. It makes perfect sense. 100%, man. Like, I even gave that dude the opportunity to be my next fight. I offered him a rematch. I offered him a rematch in the ring. I offered him a rematch in the back. He said he didn't respond. He just shook his head. And when we were leaving the arena, I saw them outside, him and his whole team, and I offered him a rematch. I was like, man, if you really feel like there was something malicious or dirty done, hey, bro, we can run it back. It doesn't matter. But the thing with him was, when you go back and watch the fight, first he said, I poked him in the eye. Then he was holding the back of his head, like I hit him in the back of the head. And then when he went down on his knee from the body shots, he was trying to say that I hit him while his knee was down. It was a whole lot of controversy, man. That's why I was saying, hey, man, let's just go ahead while we're here. Let's watch the replay. And I want the crowd and I want the people, while I'm standing right here, to let me know if I was wrong. Let me know what you guys saw. And I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that they tried to put a stain on my win. And I was hoping for a more dominant finish, my last fight. But hey, man, you take it how you get it, you know. And for me, I landed the cleaner shots. I landed the shots that mattered on my second fight. And there was no controversy there.
And I mean, it seemed like a great, you know, performance to have, just considering your opponent had also previously contended for, you know, that BYB title. And I thought it was cool that Tony Lopez and Jordan Mitchell was actually the first BYB fight you'd seen. So some cool connectivity there in a sense.
Yeah, man. Tony Lopez is a vet, bro. He was on that Dubai card. I mean, the dude's tough. And you know, him and Tony went 3 rounds, 4 rounds, something like that. So that just speaks to his toughness. You know, everybody knows Tony has over 100 fights. He's a vet in the game, and this dude went 3-4 rounds with Tony Lopez, and you know, I got him out of there and won. So.
And kind of going back to something we were talking about before, like you were talking about, you know, the durability of Linderman, and obviously a guy who's been in the game for a while now, the champion now, and competed at that, you know, first like BKFC event. So definitely like a lot of, you know, combat sports experience overall. Like you mentioned some of the, I guess, variables before. Like what would you say your thoughts are on maybe some of his better stylistic attributes and just overall resume heading into this?
Man, that dude has fought some of the who's, man. He's battle tested. To be honest, like there's no debating DJ Linderman's resume. He has a very awkward style. He moves very well to be a heavyweight. He, you know, he doesn't take a lot of steps backwards. And he also likes to throw. And he doesn't mind seeing his own blood. So, for me, the mental aspect coming into this game is, man, I know this dude's been there with some of the world's toughest men. And, you know, everybody says a cliche thing, well, he ain't been in there with me. Man, I get all that. And at the end of the day, we going to see who who's tougher. We're gonna see. It's not, to me, it's not even about being tough. To be honest, we're just gonna see whose skill set prevails. And when it's all said and done, I like DJ. He's somebody that I've been watching even before I even had my first fight. I was watching DJ Linderman, and I think this is just gonna come down to who has better skill. And no knock to him. I think that he's durable, he's tough, and he's very creative. But I just think my fight IQ and my skill level is better than his.
And kind of referencing an interview I saw you did with Aaron Tohill, like you were really talking about like the fight IQ minded and strategy aspects of it, just like the importance of footwork and everything in the Trigon. And this is an interesting fight too, because you strike me as a guy that's like incrementally gathering more knowledge, but also technique fight to fight. So it'll be interesting to see, what your approach will be heading into this third fight, maybe as compared to what you've done for your previous couple.
Yeah. Listen, man, for me, we're prepared for everything. And the Trigon is very small. It's very small, but you still have a lot of room to move. And the thing with DJ is I'm expecting him to come out and come forward. He's been having some words. I've been very quiet on social media, but he's been having some words back and forth with my guy, Eric Olson. And Eric is very verbal, and he's been telling him how I'm going to beat him. And Eric's been talking, man, for me, and I just sit back and I just watch them two go at it. Yeah. So I think that DJ is really, really taking that to heart, and I think he's really visualizing me as Eric, and I think that he's looking forward to kind of punch me as hard as he can in my mouth, man. So I'm prepared for DJ to come forward. I'm prepared for DJ to be in shape, and I'm prepared for DJ to make this an absolute dog fight. But like I said, the fight IQ, are you able to adapt during the fight? And we all know the famous saying, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Like, we all have a game plan. DJ has a serious game plan. He has a good team putting together a game plan for me, and they have something that they think is going to work for me. But it's my job when I get in there to refute everything that they thought they saw about me. And it's at that point, my fight IQ will kick in, and I will be the one that is going to figure him out before he has an answer for me.
And this is another question I'm trying to find a way to articulate, because it's kind of funny. Like, you talk about not wanting to get into the social media banter with Linderman as much, and even in the previous example, talking about the debut fight where you seemed like very understanding and composed and just kind of like, oh, hey, if you guys felt like something bad happened, like, we can run it back. Like, it seems like you're a very composed, measured kind of guy. Like, how much of that do you think, I guess, is like a variable that works in your favor competing in a sport that, can, I would think, create very heightened emotions, I would think?
Yeah, man. Even in the street, man. A lot of guys, they treat this sport like it's a street fight. It's not a street fight, and I think a lot of people, because we're fighters and because we're portrayed as violent individuals, that everyone has to play the part. And I'm not with playing the part. I'm not with acting like something that I'm not. Like, fighting is something that I was blessed to do. Fighting is something that I enjoy doing. Fighting is an art. And because it is an art, that doesn't mean that I have to hate you or dislike you or talk about your mama, your wife, your kids, to get in there and want to cause you some bodily harm. I literally am a person who is like, you know what? Let's test our skills. Like, if you beat me, you beat me. If I win, I win. But this is a sport, and I love that aspect about it. And I'm not big on saying what I'm gonna do. This is that, because you have no idea. Like, I can say, hey man, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna walk through DJ, and I'm just gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. But come fight night, He's a southpaw. I'm orthodox. I might throw a punch and step on his lead foot and roll my ankle or something. And then now what? Now that whole game plan has gone out the window. So you can't talk about and predict what you're going to do. The only thing you can do is get out there and, do what you've been trained to do and adapt as the fight goes along. And I plan on adapting every single round.
And it's interesting. I mean, adaptability, I feel like, is something we've talked about a bit in this conversation. I'm wondering, are you someone who's, visualizing a certain outcome manifesting in this one, or maybe, we're talking about, and you kind of said there, staying fluid and open to whatever could happen and adapting?
For sure, bro. I don't predict fights. Like, a young fighter, predicts fights. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do this, I'm going to knock this person out. But how I visualize this fight going is, dude, I visualize this fight just being, honestly, man, not even a war, to be honest. Because I feel like DJ thinks that his what's the word I can use? Since he's a veteran, he's been here so many times before. He's the same as me. He makes the fight as it has to go. If it has to be a brawl, then he's gonna brawl. If you allow him to stay on the outside, he's gonna stay on the outside. But the way that I really, really visualize this fight going is just a very strategic battle. And it's going to be who's going to impose whose will first and who is going to stop the other person from allowing them to do what they thought they were going to do. And when I look at DJ, man, I know he's a game opponent, and he's coming with a strategy. But everybody has seen me fight. I can fight on the outside. I can box you up. Or I'm very comfortable with you. I'm very comfortable with fighting on the inside. And I just think that, it's a strategy for both. And my strategy is don't let him hit me.
And obviously, you have a tremendous amount of experience in a few combat sports, a UFC veteran, and experiences in glove boxing and Muay Thai. And I ask this obviously not to overlook the task in front of you, but entertaining you get your ideal outcome here. How much of, I guess, a capstone, memorable achievement would it be capturing this BYB heavyweight title for you?
Man, it's going to be great, man. I'm thankful for BYB. I'm thankful that they give me the opportunity to be a part of their show and actually fight for their championship. It's a belt. It's a world championship belt. And I'm very thankful, man, that I actually still have the ability to do it at my age, and that people are still willing to put UFC veterans on a card. But it ranked very high for me. And yes, the belt ranks very high for me, but also I believe that, it's cool being able to fight people that you saw before you even thought about fighting. And that's what it was with DJ. I saw DJ before I even walked into a gym, and now I'm fighting this guy. So he has a ton more experience than me, and this is just a good gauge for me to see, hey man, how much have you learned in this short span that you've been training to fight?
Yeah, I mean, that adds a really cool detail to this. I thought it was an exciting fight just knowing what you guys bring to the table, but that little detail definitely adds something extra to it, I think. The whole, idols become your rivals kind of thing, almost. Yeah, I love that, man. Very exciting fight, and definitely stoked for it. But I do want to be mindful of your time and schedule, Rashad. I mean, you've given some great insights, but I'm curious if maybe there's any final parting thought you'd want to add as we're wrapping up, though.
Man, I just thank you for having me, man. I just thanks for having me on the show. It means a lot. I'm thankful for my team, my family, everybody that believes in me, all my training partners. And, man, come out October 21st or tune in October 21st. I guarantee you it's going to be will be the new BYB World Heavyweight Champion.
I mean, I was definitely excited for BYB 21 before talking to you, but you're definitely firing me up that much more, Rashad. But to reiterate, thank you for the time and coming on, man, and just have a good rest of your day. Looking forward to checking out this fight when it goes down soon.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you having me, man. It means a lot. Thank you.
All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual who defends his heavyweight championship at BYB 21, and that goes down on October the 21st. We've got Rashad Coulter entering that BYB Extreme Mighty Trigon and throwing knuckles with DJ Linderman, who is defending his title and is returning to the show. How's your day going so far, DJ?
It's going good. Just got off work, doing some concrete and stuff, and I seen I had a warning because I had a interview today, and I was like, oh, had to jump out and run down to the gym real quick for the interview. So.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you making some time to, talk amid a busy day and everything like that, man. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Just training's been going good, so everything's going on the schedule.
And I imagine you'd be excited returning after close to a year or so outside of the Trigon. Like, how excited are you to, I guess, be returning to the fold? And
Definitely excited, man. I'm definitely excited to get back in there. This is way too long to be away from the ring, from the Trigon. I was hoping to hit the Dubai card. We were set up to do that, and then my ID and my Social Security card actually had an extra E in it, and so they wouldn't renew my passport, and so we had to cancel that bout. I was supposed to fight out there, so it's a long time coming right now. So I'm anxious to get in there, but I'm getting the right camp in right now, and I haven't had a camp like this in a long time.
Yeah, like, what about this camp, I guess, differs from some of the previous ones? Like, you seem excited about the preparation leading into this one.
Working a lot with my head coach that I've had for 17 years. We haven't had a lot of one-on-one in the last few camps or last few fights. He's been busy with his career. I've been busy with mine and work and working out of state. And so now we're able to work, 5 days a week with each other. And you're going to see a big difference just from the last fight.
Yeah, that's interesting because, obviously you've gotten in great work at a few different spaces with some great people over the years, like Do Something Athletics and with Uriah Faber at Ultimate Fitness. So just to say, it speaks volumes that this camp is like one that, you got such great work in and speak so highly of.
Yeah, definitely. When me and my coach, Tommy Davis, we get together, I'm always on point, more than I am when I go out to other camps. And I enjoy going out to other camps and working with them, but with my coach, the one that's been there for so long, I know I'm getting the training in I need to have going into this fight.
Yeah, I love hearing that, and I know some fighters put stock in this, some fighters don't necessarily, but just this being the first title defense, like, is this an especially meaningful situation, in as far as some people have that idea? I think it was Matt Hughes back in the day who's like, you got to get that first defense to kind of really underscore the champ status. Do you feel that way, or what's your thought heading into this one?
Oh yeah, definitely. You're not, you're paper champ until you defend that title. Until that day comes, yeah, I hold the belt, but when I have my hand raised and they say I have defended that title, you can call me the champ.
Yeah, I get what you're laying down, and just very interesting situation. It's exciting to hear you, I guess, talk about how we're going to see a totally new version of yourself in the bare knuckle space, because you're someone who's been involved in the sport for quite a while now. You were on that inaugural BKFC 1 card, and you put in some great consecutive performances in BYB now. So that's really interesting. What kind of aspects of growth within your bare knuckle game have you really noticed? Because, like I said, you've been on the circuit for a while now.
Just my just my cardio wise, it's gaining a whole lot better. I have better timing with the fights, like knowing my time with these fights. The ring, knowing the inside of the Trigon is a big deal. I've had 2 fights in it now. Knowing where to be, where I could turn, working those steps. I use this ring here. I cut it off with one of the battle ropes, and I'll turn it into the Trigon as if I'm working a Trigon. So it's like you'll see. It look like I've been in the Trigon the whole time training for it when I get there.
That's really interesting. You were actually reading my mind, because I was going to ask if you kind of create your own version of the Trigon for preparation. So it's cool that you're doing that. I would think that makes it, that much more familiar. Like, is this something you've been doing, I guess, for maybe all of your BYB fights so far, or is this like a newer kind of thing you've added to the camp?
I tried it. I started doing it with the Lopez, definitely with the Lopez fight. But we're doing it more and more with this, and getting in more rounds, and putting a lot more conditioning in with this fight. Like, I know I could take a punch and stuff like that. It's pushing. We're 2 heavyweights. We're going to be, putting weight on each other. So I got to be well conditioned for this fight. And, he's an athlete. I know Coulter's an athlete, so he's going to be well conditioned coming into this fight. He's been down to the lower weights. He's been to the upper weights. So, I know he's going to come in ready to go.
And kind of like expounding upon that a bit more, just on the topic of Rashad Coulter, like, curious to, I guess, get your thoughts on this individual, because obviously experiences in some other combat sports, a UFC vet with Muay Thai and gloved boxing experience, but also now 2-0 in bare knuckle with back-to-back first round finishes. Like, I guess I'm curious to get your thoughts on maybe some of, Rashad Coulter's better, I guess, like, stylistic attributes, and just your thoughts on his resume overall.
His resume, really, it isn't big for me. Like, I watched both the fights. He won really in technicality. Those guys put on themselves in those fights. That fight over there in Dubai, that fight there, the whole back of the head thing, and then the arm getting hurt, of his opponent. Like, I feel like he's going to think I'm going to be one of them, and he's going to underestimate me. He may be an athlete, but I'm a fighter, and he's gonna come straight up against a fighter, and he hasn't met one of those yet in the bare knuckle.
That's kind of interesting. So I was talking to him a bit earlier, and he was really praising you for how experienced and tough you are, but I think his big variable, he was saying, was he thinks like the fight IQ will be the big variable in this one. But from what I can tell, it seems like you think the big variable is your toughness and ability to impose your will. Like, is that a fair way to characterize that? And do you think that'll be your big difference maker in this one?
Yeah, I'm well versed around a ring, either a cage or a ring, and I know how to read guys up, and I've been doing it a lot longer, and it's going to show in this fight with Rashad.
Yeah, for sure, and a very exciting fight, and I don't want to divert attention from it per se, but it seemed like at one point there was some discourse about maybe getting a fight with Dada 5000 going on. Like, what happened with all that there?
Well, when the day comes, we'll make that fight happen. We were waiting for the Athletic Commission of Texas to release him from his suspension that he had when he fought Kimbo Slice. They still haven't released him from that, and we're waiting for that time to happen. He's went through all the medical things he needed to do so, and it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, like, is it just one of those things where, like, it's pending on, like, the Texas Commission kind of giving that approval, and then the other commissions will kind of be like, oh, okay, like, fair enough. Is that sort of the dynamic, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like, as soon as the Athletic Commission of Texas gives the approval, the other commissions, are right behind.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I guess, it's kind of curious because you were talking before about, like, your opponent's quality of opposition, perhaps. Like, do you think that, in your experiences fighting Josh Burns and Tony Lopez so far, and obviously you fought Arnold Adams, like, do you feel like your resume in BKFC is maybe, like, a bit heavier than his is, or more impressive, or however you want to phrase that thought?
Definitely. Like, the two he fought prior to me, those two guys were, those were brawlers coming in to fight. Like, they weren't real versed in the fight game at all. Like, it don't matter which side of it, if you're on the fighting in a cage or fighting in a ring, those guys were just brawlers coming in. And my IQ coming in here, with a big fight IQ, it's going to play a big difference, and he's going to see that, and he knows that. It's one thing he has to know in the back of his head, that I'm going to read him the whole time.
And I know some fighters will kind of practice, like, visualization and maybe have, like, predominant visualization, a certain idea of how the fight is going to end in their estimation. Like, are you someone who does a lot of visualization? And if so, do you have a certain one that maybe keeps popping up in as far as how this Coulter fight could end?
The Coulter fight, I know he's never took any of his fights in deep water. So I visualized us going in third through the fifth, third through the sixth, and that's why I feel he's going to be weak, and I'm going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, definitely was excited for this fight before talking to you, but definitely, more fired up after talking to you. And, talking to Rashad earlier, like, it seems like both of you are very, fired up for this fight. So, yeah, definitely excited to, see it when it goes down. But, I appreciate you making some time to, come on the show and talk, man. I guess I'm curious if maybe there's, like, any final parting thought you'd want to add as we're sort of wrapping things up here, DJ.
Just Rashad better, be ready. His days are numbered, and I don't plan on a loss anytime soon. And I'm only getting better in this sport. My MMA feels like it's coming to a close, and this is just the start of bare knuckle. And he just better be ready for a fight, and it's gonna be the fight of his life for sure.
Well, very exciting to hear that you're, so excited about bare knuckle and everything like that. And yeah, just I've always enjoyed your fights in MMA, and just cool to understand that you're looking to navigate even more bare knuckle going forward. And yeah, very excited for BYB 21. I'm thinking it'll be a great fight on October the 21st. And just to reiterate, appreciate you coming on the show, man, and looking forward to checking out that fight. But until then, you have a good rest of your day, DJ.
You too, man. Thanks.